Yo, yo, yo. It is Reverse Polarity, episode 50. It's me, your boy Hi Fi Vega, with hair this week. And I'm
I know,
joined,
man. It's so hard to get used to.
as always, by the man who never sleeps, the destroyer of salad, the guy who will eat a whole radish. What's up, Dean?
Ooh, God. Not you're gonna say like
Yes.
Brussels sprouts or something. You know, it's funny with your hair and the diet you've been on.
Yeah.
You look younger.
Oh, man.
In stark contrast, I look older.
Sorry, it's a bad look on you then, huh?
It's just a bad look on me because it's like
Yeah.
before I could pull it off, but now
Yeah.
with the lack of sleep and so much travel, I just I was looking at the footage that we captured of a SEMA, and there's the end of the show that we captured, and we just got off the plane. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and we're walking to Fernando's car before he found out he lost his wallet.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm talking to the camera, and I looked at it the next day, and I was like, "Who the hell is that talking?" I mean, I didn't even recognize myself. I looked so just like
Does he ever
somebody hit
sleep?
me in the face with a shovel. It was so bad. But oh man, we had a great time. SEMA
Yo,
was awesome.
Scott.
What's
So,
up? SEMA was
yeah,
cool. It was a bummer you guys didn't get to go.
I know, man. When you started sharing pictures and other people I know started sharing pictures, I was like, man, what they call that? FOMO. I had fear of missing out. I was like, dude, I could be there,
I get
hanging
that all
out,
the time.
checking all this stuff out, but it didn't happen. Not this year, anyways.
Focal or Millie Legends.
Ooh,
Focal Flax and Millie Legends. I think the Millie Legends is one rung up from the Flax. They're more of
right.
a competitor for like K series, K2. They both sound great. They're both going to give you that party nightclub sound. I think where the difference is going to be is if you don't want the party nightclub sound with the Legends because of this big dome tweeter, you can
Yeah.
kind of back it off a little bit and not have so much of that party rock. So
There you go.
but that's my
I've
take on it.
never heard a set of Millie Legends. I've heard the Flax.
They're
And,
nice. I like them. They
yeah,
sound really great with rock and like music, with
right.
instruments and stuff. Like we've done a couple front stage upgrades with Millie Pros, a couple with Millie Legends. If you have room for the tweeter,
Yeah.
and it's usually older gentlemen that realize like the value and stuff. Which brings us to the topic of the show today.
Yeah.
Did you do a poll? You didn't do a poll, did you?
I did a poll.
All right, let's look at the
And
poll.
this poll is 100% thanks to Uncle Bobby B, who hit me up and said, yo, you forgot the poll.
Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
Bobby B. He is the man.
How much are you willing to pay for a full system?
Now, I didn't specify whether you're doing it yourself or you're installed. I figure I'd let people figure that out for themselves.
Right.
But does this look right to you?
No.
No.
That's not a realistic number at all. Like, you're not getting anything with that budget. If 36... Yeah. So, and that's what I wanted to talk about, because there's a couple things that people need to kind of think about when they're buying a system. And I want to kind of go over that so that, for one, people cannot hate so much, because I don't understand the haters for people that want to spend more money, or when something costs a lot of money and they hate on it. I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't hate on Lamborghini because they make, car for $750,000.
Exactly.
I lust after it. I don't know why car audio guys feel like if something's expensive, it's got to suck. Doesn't make any sense to me. And the other thing, too, that I want to kind of hit on is how reasonable expectation and how you can approach something with reasonable expectation or lack thereof a reasonable expectation. And like some of the things we've been seeing, like that question, Flax or Millies, those are expensive speakers. They're not super expensive speakers, but they're expensive speakers. I mean, you're, depending on where you get them, you're between $4,000 to $800. Okay. And to some people, if you say, hey, that's a $700 set of speakers, different things pop in their heads because they have nothing in which to gauge it by. Some things that might pop in their head is, wow, that's a lot of money. Another thing that might pop in their head is, wow, that seems like a pretty good deal. You know, because there's always one way and the other. The other thing, that the one that I struggle with, is the guy that sits there and says, man, I bet you those are loud.
Yeah.
And so that one I figured we could kind of beat up a little bit, because I don't know when it happened or who started it or why they even thought of it, but dollar value and loudness do not go hand in hand with one another.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the guy that's like, I bet those are loud. Like, oh, if you want the loud, like, we can do this much cheaper.
Oh yeah,
Much cheaper.
But you know, that's the guy that's like, I'm buying a set of K2s because I want a loud SQ system.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that's not how it works. A set of 6.5s is still a set of 6.5s. Just because you spent $700 on them, that does not mean it's going to be any louder than a $300 set of speakers. It just means they're going to sound better. Right. Sound better and loudness they're not interchangeable pieces. You know, and then you go, oh, there's power handling increases. Yeah, but not that much. It might double. But double the power handling, as we all know, what does that get us? 3 dB, whoopity-doo. You know, and that's not that much. That's not even a noticeable difference most of the time to most people.
And I think a lot of times people do equate loudness with good sound. They're like, I think their vernacular maybe is not where it should be. If they're talking to someone having it installed, they don't know what they want, or they know what they want. They don't know how to communicate what they want, or they're using buzzwords that they've heard on Facebook, or you know, some kind of a group, like a Basshead group or an SQ group. They're just using the words that they've heard and not actually being honest with themselves about what they want. Like me personally, I would never want a full SQ competition system, because that's not the way I listen to music.
No, that's not the way most people listen to music.
Right. And I think that, you know, I would kind of want something in between. You want something.
All right, this piece of lettuce is just killing me here.
There you go, man.
God damn.
Is there any broccoli in there? That's the best.
No, there wasn't. That was a bummer. There's no broccoli. Okay, go back. Sorry.
No, but like me, I'll want something in between. Now, I definitely don't want anything near what like a Basshead would want, but I also don't want the far end. So I'm just right in the middle. I want it to sound good tonality. Imaging is important, but it's not. It's farther down on the rung for me than tonality in general.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And there again, pushing the sound forward is important. Having it dead center isn't always the most important thing. You know, you want a good front soundstage. It doesn't have to be. Not everybody wants, you know, a softball in the center of the dash. That's not what the majority of the people want. They just want a presence across the front of the car. You know, like they're at a concert and it sounds good and it's all coming at them. Bose has proven that time and time again. So I mean, it's okay. We know what you guys want. But I you know, we had a conversation with somebody and they're like, "Oh man, this is going to be so loud." And it's like, "Whoa, back the train up." You know, well, I'm getting, you know, it's like, all right, listen, you got a bigger motor structure, you have a less efficient speaker. You know, we've done, like, we'll do an Audison Prima system. Okay, it's $1,100 amplifier. Their speakers are mild. The Audison Prima speakers are mildly priced, so they're somewhere around $350 to $400. You know, depending on which ones you're going with. And they make everything. They make a tweeter, they make a mid-range, a 2.5-inch mid-range. They make a 6.5, a 6x9, an 8-inch. So and they make a 2-ohm version depending on what you're doing. Not always necessary. They make a high power version and a low power version. So if you're going with the Prima or the Prima Forza, which is the bigger of the two, it's basically double the power. They have a 1,000-watt amp. They have a 500-watt amp. They have 35 by 8 and 75 or 80 by 8.
Yeah.
But the thing of the whole system is that it's very efficient. It's efficient power. They're efficient speakers. At 70, 80 watts, these things will get up and dance. A lot of the times you'll take the 8-channel amplifier, make it a 6-channel amplifier, and give those front mid bass, 180 watts a piece or some obscene amount of power. It bridges like amazing. And that sounds great, but you're looking at this amplifier that's like this big.
Right.
Okay. And it sounds wonderful. And it's a very amazing sounding system. Helix also does that with all their little amplifiers. They have the little tiny things that are this big. Yeah, they're this big, and they're just like, what the it's Martian technology, But you get in the car and it sounds wonderful, and it's DSP and it sounds great, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, yeah, I'm not buying that crap. I can go buy this garbage over here. Sorry. I can go buy this brand of amplifier over here that's 3,000 watts by 4 and put some wheels on it, use it as a skateboard if it breaks, but then I can get some real volume out of this. And it's like, not really. You're just going to have your headlights dimming because you bought the wrong equipment. You didn't do any research. But that also falls back down to that price that the poll pulled up,
right?
Under $3,000. If you don't have a gauge in which something like we get people that come in all the time, and you ask the stupid question, and it is, how much do you want to spend? Okay. It's a great conversation piece to know not how much they want to spend, but whether or not they've done their research.
Yeah.
Because if a guy comes in and he's like, I was thinking between, $5,000 and $8,000. Okay. You've done some research. You know the value in what you're searching for. You have an idea of the products you're going after. When the guy comes in and he says, it sounds, and they're just listing off all the things wrong with the car.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. There you go. All right. Let's go inside. We'll take a look. We'll come on. And it's like, all right, here are all the things that fix every problem you have. That's going to be $10,000. Whoa. I was maybe 2,500.
Yeah.
That's
right. I think, yeah, you're right. People don't have a reference. Like if I were not installing my own system and I was going somewhere to a reputable shop to get installed, the system I would want, I know for a fact, would be over $5,000. And I don't need anything crazy.
No,
but I just know the system that I would want would be a minimum of $5,000 because it's going to be at least $2,500 in equipment.
Oh yeah,
at least. And then you're going to want some kind of sound treatment.
Bass strings.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have, because why spend $700 on some Milli Pros and just throw them in my 10 doors?
No, that would suck. We don't even give people the option. When you're buying a speaker like that, you don't get the option. You're getting the sound treatment,
right?
It's like, all right, well, it's $1,400. What? Like, all right, listen, I can't put these speakers in your car and just screw them to the door. Well, you're gonna come back at me and be all pissed off. It's
Right.
not worth it for me to do that. I don't have to do that. I don't want to waste your time and mine. And I'm not just going to take your money to take your monies. I'm not that interested in selling a $700 set of speakers that are going to come back and someone's going to tell me they sound like crap. And that comes into the other case. These guys that say, screw that shop, I'll do it myself. I don't know what the hell those guys were thinking. And so they'll spend $3,000 on the equipment and then they'll try to do the install. And it's like when we were talking about the kicker, the Snowmans, and it's like it's $299. That's a hell of a deal. It really is. It's a hell of a deal. It's a bargain. I mean, because if you look at like a set of Illusion 3.5s, the C3s,
oh yeah,
it's an $800 set of 3.5s. Okay. Now, yes, they will make angels cry.
Yeah.
But they're still 3.5s. So it's not like they're going to blast you out of the car. All right. Exactly. And you have to find some place to put them. The one guy that chimed in is like, I've already spent $1,000 just building my own set of 8 pillars. That's normal, man. You're going to spend. And that's, and that's the other thing too, that a lot of people don't think about when they're going to do it themselves. It's like, okay, whether you're working for yourself or you're working for somebody else, your time is worth a certain amount of money. Okay. Like when we all want to do projects on our own to save money. Okay. It's like, okay, Let's do that. Let's think about that for a minute and go, all right, I have a weekend off. All right. That's fine. Those are 2 days off that you have to do whatever you want. If you want to put in a new addition on your house every weekend for the next 4 years, go ahead. That makes total sense. Are you going to save money? Yeah, probably. Now, when you have to take time off work to do it, that's where it becomes a challenge, because if you're still getting paid and you're using your vacation time, well, you're just going to burn yourself out, and that sucks. But let's say you work at a place and they pay you 25 to 30 bucks an hour. Okay. That means that your time is worth 25 to 30 bucks an hour. So if you're doing something and you're not getting paid 25 to 30 bucks an hour, that sucks. So if I'm out there working on this shed or this back porch or whatever it is, and it's like it took me 8 months to do it. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. I saved, $4,000 or $20,000. Not really. I really didn't, because I could have been doing something else to make more money than that, And a lot of people don't think about that,
No,
and it's
they don't.
like, no. And I used to talk to installers all the time about that, back in the day when that was a thing. And they'd always come into the back of the install bay where I was building something, and they'd be like, oh man, what you building? I'll be like, I'm building this. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I built this thing the other day, whipped it out in like 20 minutes, charged a guy 35 bucks. And yeah, it turned out really nice. And I'm like, 35 bucks? Like, dude, we're cheap. You're just giving the shit away. Like, what are you talking about? It only took me like 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes plus $10,000 worth of tools and 20 years of experience. And you sold it for 35 bucks? Are you insane? How does that equate out? It doesn't. It's just dumb.
Well, I think in this case, like you said, if you're doing it on the weekend and it's a hobby, then that's where it's when you start not working or it cuts into your work, it's literally what you're worth an hour.
No, and totally. Listen, I started doing this as a hobby, 30 years ago, 31 years. So anything previous to 31, so 88, 87, back when you guys were born. This was a hobby, and it was, I did it on my own because it was fun and I wanted to learn. And then I learned that I could get paid to do it. And I was like, this is even better. It's like, holy crap, you're going to pay me to do this thing that I just like to do. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'm down with that. And I'm not trying to say, no, don't do it. I'm just saying you also have to be realistic about your time. We all have a finite amount of time that we can spend on things. And sometimes, like right now, I can do every home improvement that I've paid people to do over the last year and a half. I can lay tile. I can do drywall. I can do electrical. I can do all that shit. But what I can't do is find time to do it. And so that stuff needs to get done.
Yeah.
It doesn't I'm too busy over here taking care of this part of my life. This other part over here is just kind of like, the wife is not happy because these things aren't getting done. And it's like, all right, well, I'm making more money doing this than it's going to cost me to pay somebody to do that. Like it doesn't make sense. So therefore, I'm going to pay this person to do this, which is great. And I'll just like mowing my yard. I don't have time to mow my yard. I'm busy 6 days a week, and then I work another 50 hours a week on this YouTube stuff, and that has a revenue associated with it. So if I can pay some guy $20 a week to cut my grass, I'm saving money.
Exactly. Kobe and his wife make the best peanut butter brittle and green chili jelly. Ooh. I was with you at peanut brittle, green chili jelly. I love green.
That might be interesting.
I mean, I try it.
I was gonna say I try anything once.
Yeah,
as long as it's not moving. I mean, I haven't tried octopus once, and that's all it took. Those suction cups were hard to get past.
But I think kind of the point of this is like the do-it-yourself guys, which is cool. That's literally what I do. But when you come in, don't expect that these prices are going to be the same prices that you could do it for. I think.
Well, that's one thing.
and because
Yes.
they're just doing the raw parts. Like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
I can order this. You know, it's like someone saying, "Well, I can get this off of Alibaba." It's the same amp. Maybe it is. Maybe sometimes it is the very same amp. But
Sometimes.
but what's the warranty? How are you gonna get it serviced if it breaks? Are you
Well, I
willing
mean,
to,
that's been the independent retailers conversation we have all day long with, the guy that walks in and says, I can get it for $20 cheaper on whatever internet site. And it's like, hey, man, if me standing here in front of you talking to you isn't worth $20, please turn around. There's a door that you came through. Just exit through it. Okay. Because
yeah,
you're going to come in and bug me and then expect for free. And
right.
then like I'm gonna save $20 by getting here. You're not even anybody I want to talk to at that point. You know,
Exactly.
I just you know
I
let's
would
talk about it.
never I would never want to take my own equipment in and get it installed somewhere. Just for the simple fact, if you buy the equipment at the place, and I've actually had systems installed in the past, they can service it for you. If you have a problem, you didn't want to be bothered doing the system in the first place. Means you
Right.
may not want to be bothered if something goes wrong. So if they install it, everything's set for you. When something goes wrong, you're like, hey,
Yeah, you just come bug
y-
me.
you're like, hey, Paul, this is going on. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have Nando or Dean look at it.
Well, so Mike B. Dean quoted me a job for 4,500. Nothing written down, kind of unsettling. Um, when I write everything down and I actually don't give out any quotes. If someone just walks up to me and how much do you think something's going to cost, then sure I might throw out a number, but it's nothing serious because it has to be written down. So
Yeah,
I don't quote any prices. I never do. That's not my job. My job is to listen to you, have you tell me your story, me figure out what you want. I write it all down. I hand it to Paul. If any money is ever talked about, it's between the customer and Paul. It's never me or Fernando. That's not our job. It's not my
yeah,
job to answer the phones. It's not my job to call you back. I don't respond to emails. That's all his job. He's the sales guy, and that's where a lot of people get confused. It's like, you guys never call me. I'm not even in the showroom. I'm 3 stores away trying to do
yeah,
my job. I'm an
exactly.
installer.
Yeah, and
Salesman isn't anywhere on my, tax form,
what
you
and
know.
the thing that kills me with the prices, I understand it. People just get overwhelmed or whatever, but if the price seems crazy to you, just don't pay it.
Well, it's not your thing, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, like you said, I will recommend if you like this topic. I listened to the Old Fashioned Cardio podcast with
Ooh,
you that
yeah,
dropped the other day. You guys touched on this subject quite a bit towards the end. It is a 3 hour podcast,
I
but
know.
it actually, you know what? It didn't go by. It took me 2 days to hear it at work, but it went it didn't drag on. So I thought it was good, and I heard like a lot of these stories I'd already heard, but I had just as much time, good time listening to them. So
Yeah.
definitely check that one out.
So that's the old fashioned podcast. It's done by Gary Biggs and Matt Schaefer. Most people know Matt Schaefer because he's the Tesla man. Hey,
Tesla.
Gary Bell.
Bell.
Did I say
Bell.
Big? I meant
You
Bell.
said Biggs. Yeah, you meant Bell.
I always screw those up, and it's funny. I apologize to him every time. Um, he's the guy that built the Sinister Six.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I
So for
didn't know
those of you
that.
guys don't know what the Sinister Six is, that's Alpine's 6 Series BMW that had the whole swivel cockpit and all that. He worked at Alpine, and that was the first car he built for Alpine.
I, you know what? I will say, like, definitely check that. That podcast was very good, insightful, especially once we got past all the stuff I already knew and we got into the talk of business.
Yeah, I don't know. It was funny. We recorded that like 2 months ago, I think. So I have to go back and listen to it because I don't remember. So I listen to that podcast while I'm running. And so I get like half-hour clips of it throughout
Yeah,
the week.
true at that thing.
So
Yeah.
right now I'm listening to Manville Smith of JL Audio.
You know
And
what? For whatever reason, I just hadn't picked it up because it's a very long podcast, and
they're all long. It's
I have
all
like
long.
40 or something podcasts that I listen to, but I'm gonna put them in the
Jesus.
rotation because that's basically I work listening to
Mhm.
podcasts all day while I'm working. But
Nice.
I'm gonna put them in rotation because I like the inside more of the inside talk. Them just talking
Yeah.
about what you guys do.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun. And it's nice too because it's like, most of these people I know. So it's cool to get like, a different perspective on that, or be like, "Oh wow, I never knew that," but yeah, it's fun. So this 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 is one of those hard topics that's never really going to have an answer for it.
Yeah.
And there again, so one of the reasons that really that brought this up to my this and this is one of those things that it's going to be, Fernando and I have talked about this, and it's one of those things where it's like, this is a topic that we kind of have to spend more time on. Like, we've spent a lot of time on like all these things, but
Right.
reasonable expectation and not in understanding what you're buying, and what you're buying has the value that you can afford. But
Right.
that doesn't make anything worse. But I know it's a hard push, and I know it has to be something that gets talked about, because like even today, I was going back, and I don't know if you've had the chance to listen to the interview that we did with Bill Jackson from Rockford
Not
Fosgate.
yet. I
So
seen it up though. I hadn't watched it yet.
yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to listen to that one, or Greg Combs, if you haven't listened to that, those are two awesome interviews that we got to do. Had a lot of fun. First off, I mean, Bill Jackson, President and CEO of Rockford Fosgate, just to listen to his stories and have him talk to us about that. Some guy wrote a comment on that didn't make any sense to me. All right, they were clearly not educated in what they were saying, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying they were stupid. No, not at all. I'm just saying they weren't educated in the sense that whatever they were saying wasn't right. So here's what he writes. That's all good, but Rockford needs to get better products with lower prices. Right now, Harman and Infinity and JBL speakers eat Rockford's sound. Okay. And it's like, first off, doesn't know what he's talking about. Only because, like, Harman, which is JBL Infinity, along with Bang & Olufsen and Mark Levinson, and all these things that are now owned by Samsung. Not a knock, just reality.
Yeah.
Their focus has not got anything to do with aftermarket 12 volt.
Right.
It has nothing to do with it. JBL makes a set of speakers for car audio for $5,000. All right.
Yeah.
They asked us if we wanted to review them, and we said no, because I no. Like,
Right. Right.
all I'm gonna get from it is hate. Oh my god, for $5,000, those have to be a million. That should be 100,000 dBs, and it should crack your windshield. And no, it's just a really well made speaker. Okay.
Yeah.
Their primary function or focus is to make enough product and sell enough product to get you to buy their headphones and their Bluetooth speakers. No, that's the truth.
And their factory car systems.
Yes, that's it. They realized a couple years ago that they had lost that part of the industry.
Yeah.
No one aftermarket. There was no aftermarket business. And if you'll notice, in the last 3 to 4 years, they've started to come out with more products, and they've started to put a little push out there. And like, they have the little DSP amp, but it just kind of like pops up and disappears, and pops up and disappears, and pops up and disappears. Okay. But listen, a $69 set of speakers is nothing to get excited about. Rockford has been making a $69 set of speakers since the beginning of time, it seems like,
Right.
with one form or another. So to say like, oh, it's like, no, I mean, prime speakers sound really good for the money.
Even the
And
power, like
punch,
the power series that I have in the Trooper right now, they're like 250.
oh, they're super affordable. Like a
It's like,
set of, listen, if somebody wants loud and affordable, you
yeah.
go for the Rockford Power 2s.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, Jeeps we sell a ton of Jeeps that get Rockford Power 2s. Set it so T1s in the front, or T2s in the front, T1s in the back. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, it's like $250, $300. I think
Right.
it's like, I mean, they used to have T5s, and they still have 3s and 4s, but most people buy, and it's like, they're super affordable. And I will put them against a shit ton of speakers out there, and they will dominate.
Right.
They're great sounding speakers, and they're loud, and they're dynamic, and they just like, for the money, you can't beat it. Like if there again, the guy comes in and he's like, I only want to spend $3,500, but I want it to melt my eyelids. It's like you need a Rockford T2, okay? And I will put those against the Harmans any day and be like, look, price for price. These are two very competitive speakers. Now, whether one sounds better than the other, that's up to you, because when it comes to sound subjective, blah, 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 and whatever. But to sit there and say, hey, no, it's like, so Rockford actually came back with a really great comeback, which it was probably Eric.
It was definitely Eric.
And he says, just so we understand the relevance of your comment, what was the last Rockford product you purchased, and what models are you comparing to Harman? And to me, that is the best comeback ever. Because, listen, if you're going to sit there...
They're not buying Rockford Fosgate.
No, if you're going to sit there and bitch about it, and the last time you bought a set of speakers from Rockford was 10 years ago, give me a break. I mean, you have no idea what that company's about right now. Like, you don't. I mean,
yeah.
I haven't had a hamburger in 4 years. I don't know what meat is like. I don't follow, I don't follow those cool, Dream Hamburger pages anymore on Instagram, because it's not relevant to me. I don't care.
You're going to Five Guys for the fries now.
Yeah,
I'd
in the milkshakes.
For a bag of, this is side jag, but a bag of Five Guys fries. I seen someone had one. Oh man, yeah.
With so you getting the milkshake to dip them into?
No. We can't go that far.
No, that vanilla milkshake, French fries. That's
Oh,
that's
I
good.
know, man. Trust me. I'm like the Wendy's. You do it at Wendy's.
Oh yeah, Frosties.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, with their new shitty fries.
Yeah.
But my point is it's like you really gotta. People need to calm down. People just need to shut the fuck up, I guess, is really the word I'm looking for. It's like you don't need to comment just to comment. All right.
Yeah.
Like, one nice thing I like about our channel now is that people have realized we have struggled really hard to give you as much information as we can in a video. Like, we want to answer all the questions before you ask them. And if you've watched the video, more than likely you got the answer. I don't know what meat is like. That's what she said.
What she didn't say.
Yeah. Anyways, so the nice thing is, we get fewer questions on our videos anymore because we've answered. And I always know when the guy didn't watch the video, because it'll be the one stupid question that was the whole purpose of the video. And you'll be like, dude, you didn't even watch the video, you dumbass. Why,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that comment in particular, I think Rockford really is down market on, basically they have something for everything down market. Now, when you're comparing them to the cheapest of the cheap, when I say that, I mean, I'm talking
but they don't need to be.
Exactly. They don't need to, but I'm talking like Scar or something like that. Which
but all that stuff. Look, if you look at Scar, you look at what's his name? Hey y'all, amplifiers.
Yeah.
If half the stuff that Derek is testing, all the stuff that Derek is testing, if you look at all that stuff, it's like, hey, listen, okay, that's fine. And there again, if your entry into car audio is that stuff, I don't have a problem with it. My first set of speakers was a set of Peerless tweeters. My first amplifier was a JSE amplifier and a set of 8s to match. Those companies don't even exist, okay? And they were as generic as they got. And I loved every minute of it because it got me into car audio. I had Sherwood amplifiers, which is basically the equivalent of those brands we just talked about. So there's nothing wrong with those brands, but there's also a tier above that.
Right.
There's always a tier above that. And to say that product sucks because it's $100 more, what am I getting for $100? I bought this 3K over here for $150. They want $299 for an 800 watt amplifier. That doesn't make any sense. And it's like, might not to you because you don't know what you're buying.
Yeah. Well, and it's just not it's not for you. If you want cheap power and you're trying to do something like that amp that you talked about, whoever it may be, the $150 3K amp, that's the perfect amp for you. So,
yeah,
you know, it fits your need. It does what you want it to do. You're happy with it.
yeah.
So what's it matter if Rockproof Fosgate sells
Right.
800-watt amp for $300 or whatever it is?
Oh wait, what did I do? Sorry. All right, so the share that website I put up earlier. We're gonna pull that up because hold on, let me go to my Chrome tab here. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do this. All right, okay. Go ahead and do your thing.
So let's put it up.
Put it up. I'm gonna go back here.
Thesis.
Okay. So this is a Thesis HV Vente. It sounds like something you'd order at Starbucks, right? I mean, for God's sakes, look at that. Look how sexy that is.
Trent. What's the other one? I don't know all the sizes.
Yeah, I don't know any of that crap. I've gotten one drink at Starbucks. I can't say I've never been into Starbucks. Haley made me get something, and it was horrible.
The hot chocolate's good.
The hot chocolate tastes burnt. It's disgusting. Like I'll drink it in the winter if it's freezing, and okay, freezing for us and freezing for you, two different things. I understand, but bear with me on this one. All right, so this amplifier is one of the most expensive amplifiers in car audio. All right, it is hand built by Italians. They build a couple a week, mind you, and they're about $10,000 American. They were. I don't know what they are now because of COVID and shit. They're probably $14,000 now. But this amplifier is the best of the best. Thank you, sir. Made with only the finest Jurassic Park shit you can find. Okay. And the ice cream is not melting when you buy this. Okay. Now, immediately, some of you out there going, was it like a 10K?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not.
No. It's like a 30K. Isn't that what the big 30K costs?
Yeah, it's a 30K. Yeah, it's a 30K.
Yeah.
No, it's a multi-channel amplifier. I mean, it's like it's not anything spectacular. It's just a multi-channel amplifier you're going to put in your car. That you're going to put $5,000 speakers on. And it's not going to be loud. It's just going to sound really good. And anyone that sits there and says, that's stupid, we can get rid of it now. Okay. It's not. It's just not for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just when you hear the price tag on that, me immediately I'm like, hey, this isn't for me. This is definitely. It's like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. Like I could be the richest person in the world. First of all, I'm not going to fit in either one of those vehicles. Secondly, like if I'm spending that much money, I'm getting like an OG original Land Rover Defender. Like
I'm getting a Lambo.
Yeah, see, it's for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've worked on those cars. I don't want one. You can have that.
Yeah.
No. And I mean,
if I got money, I'm not going to be the one working on it.
Oh yeah, exactly. It'll be me working on it, and I'll be like,
yeah,
suck ass. Yeah, for sure. But okay, so now there again, a lot of you out there were just like, oh, I could buy 100 SCAR amplifiers for that price. And you wouldn't be wrong. Yeah. And that might be what you want to do. It's okay. It's okay. But don't hate on this just because it's not what you're trying to do. And don't expect it to be the loudest thing you've ever seen. And that's, I think, also what happens is a guy that actually saves up and gets the money. And then, he should have never spent that money. Sometimes it's kind of like when you ever watch the lottery homes?
Yeah.
Guy that does the lottery homes.
Yeah, and it's just like Liberace lived there.
Yes.
Moved in, Yeah.
Today we're gonna find you the best, and you're just like these people, this dude, you're literally picking them up in a trailer and you're gonna go show them a $500,000 home.
Right.
These people don't need a $500,000 home. No. They need to go from a trailer maybe to an apartment. Okay, something that like can stand a hurricane or a tornado.
So do you ever have to like talk people down? So the guy comes in, he's on the bass head side, he wants something. Now, when he says SQ loud, he just wants something that's loud.
People would never
It's
use.
not.
I have never had a customer say to me SQ loud.
Have you not?
No,
Oh, dude, like
no.
it's big in the DIY world, but
I know, but that's just it though. They're not
yeah.
coming in and asking me stuff.
So, do you ever have a guy that's like, this is what he wants? He wants a loud stereo, but he's got a champagne budget, and you
Yeah.
have to like back him down.
Well, I mean, that
So,
always happens. I mean,
yeah,
so the conversation is always as followed. You know, how old are you? That's important. I want to know how old you are.
yeah,
You know, obviously we get past the first thing. What kind of car do you have? What year is it? You know, does it have the factory stereo in it still? Do you want to keep the factory stereo? Car, you ask all those questions, like a million questions. Because
yeah.
a lot of times I'm talking to people on the phone, and they're again not the sales guy. It's just I get stuck doing it. And I usually ask like, what kind of music do you listen to? Sometimes they'll tell me, hey, I saw that video that you guys did on this car. I really like the way that turned out. Can we do that? And it's like, I don't know, maybe let's keep going. You know, and you'll figure out that okay, that will work well for you. Everything we said in the video kind of jive. That's why a lot of times at the end of the day or during the video, we always kind of belabor the point of what it is we're doing, so that people will be like, why are you going passive? You have a DSP. Well, because it's a 4-channel amp, stupid, and we got 8 channels of sound, so it's not going to work that way. You know, pay attention.
Right.
Just because it doesn't mean you hook it up and something magical happens. Bingo. I had to find that out the hard way too at one point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, okay, prime example. A month ago, guy came in with a new C-Class. For those of you who don't have the pleasure of driving a Mercedes-Benz C-Class, the new C-Class sounds like rolling shit puppies.
That's it, really?
Okay?
I wouldn't expect
It has 4 3.5s, 4 3.5s, and 1 7-inch octopus subwoofer up in the passenger footwell. That's
so it's got
ported to the
upfront bass
outside of
and
the
it
car.
still sounds bad.
It's a 7-inch shitty speaker with no power. It's powered off the radio.
Yeah.
It is garbage. Okay, and it's not even like discrete amplification. It's literally like the subwoofer is powered off the mid-range. Everything is full range, which is wonderful because they didn't manage to. It doesn't even have tweeters, even though it's got grills. It has no tweeters.
Right.
So this guy comes in, nice guy, you know, brand new car, had a stereo back in the day. This ain't getting it. I get called over because it's way outside of Paul's you know, he's like, I don't know what to do. So I go out there and I listen to it. I'm like, yep, sounds like hot shit. Now I've sat in this car several times before. We've worked on them. We know how they work. We've already done all the research on them, but you still have to go out there and listen to them because you want to find out what this guy listens to. And you have to like pop the trunk, and he's got tons of shit in the trunk. And you're like, is this the amount of stuff you travel with? Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to, you know, okay. And he wanted everything. And you're like, okay, we're going to start this conversation. You want everything. You have 2 kids. You know, you just got the car, snazzy car. What's our budget? You know, because it's a Mercedes, and I'm not just going to hit you over the head because it's a Mercedes. Everything that for that car is expensive because it's only like Focal makes Mercedes-Benz speakers, and they're flax, and they're not cheap.
Dean, he's got a $1,500 budget. We can do a lot.
He does have a $15. He does have a $15 budget. That was all he had, and I was like, okay. So
you want a kicker key?
Well, you got to get creative because it's like, listen, what is the main problem here? Okay, so that's when you have to really start to listen to what it is that the problem is, because you know sometimes it's like, listen, $1,500 ain't gonna get it done. I'm gonna tell you right now, $1,500, it's not gonna happen. Okay, so just put that number out of your head. But let's get it as affordable as we can, and as affordable as we can means we also have to keep an eye on the time that it's gonna take to do it. Because to make it affordable, it has to be able to be turned around in a quick time. Meaning we can't take 2 days on it. Okay, it has to be done in a day because you can't pay me for 2 days and keep your budget. It's not going to happen because you're not paying for an install. You're buying my time. All right.
Yeah.
That's what you buy. You buy my time. And my time costs X amount of money, and that's it. So we looked at it and we're like, it has no treble because there are no tweeters. So I was like, okay. So I said, how's the volume? He goes, well, the volume for the highs are fine. There's no bass. I was like, of course there's no bass. Well, that subwoofer, to replace that factory up front subwoofer, is stupid expensive. I mean, they're like anywhere between $800 to $1,000 a piece. So out of the question. Well, there again, it's only made for those cars. So that's it. You know, one off. Bingo. So it's like, okay, take that out of the equation. Let's just leave that. All right. So we'll put a set of new mids and highs up front, the Focal Mercedes-Benz speakers, okay, which are expensive. But that's okay because it's like we're not going to put an amp on him. He's fine with the volume. We just want to increase the sound quality. So we're going to go with those speakers. Then we're going to concentrate on the bass. So that's when, there again, Kicker Key comes in because we got a Key 501 to fix the problems that are going to happen with that factory system. And we've actually put several Key 501s into the C class because it does a great job, and it's small and it's compact, and it literally fits in the back corner of the car. And they have this whole assembly in the back of the car, and it just slides right into place like a cartridge and bolts right in. And it's like super cool. And we don't have to spend hours building brackets and stuff like that. So that saves time, which in turn saves money. Where the fun part was is we went with a down-firing subwoofer. So when all was said and done in the installation, I think we were between $2,500 and $3,500, and which was fine. Like he was like, okay, because once we started talking, he had no basis on what to judge it by. You know, he went online, went to Amazon, typed in speakers, and a $65 set of speakers came up. He goes, bet you those sound better than my factory, not realizing that it's a custom speaker for that car.
Right.
You know, so once he was properly educated, then he started to be like, all right, this is going to get, you know, but I need to do this. So we put the shallow mount woofer in. He blew it over the weekend because, dude, he vapor locked the crap out of that thing over the weekend because we had that conversation. I was like, listen, we're going to sell you this because you have all that shit in your trunk. All right. And this will allow you to keep all that crap in your trunk. It's not the loudest option. It's just the option that will allow you to live your lifestyle, you know? So we can do anything else. We have a 500 watt amp in there now. So I'm not really too concerned about the subwoofer. I just want to get something in there and figure out if it's enough for you. I didn't expect them to blow it over the weekend. So, you know, which was fine though. Cause I mean, that happens. It's not the end of the world. So we came in on Monday. I got called back over. The first thing I was like, hey, what's up, Mr. Subwoofer Killer? I'm like, damn, Mr. Don't know how to turn the volume down. And so what he actually wanted was like a P310.
Yeah.
You know, and that got him, you know, so I was like, okay, listen, clearly you want more bass than you led on about. So let's put some of these in your trunk and we'll see what works. Put the P310 in there. Rockford has the sexiest grills for their woofers. So if you need a grill-free woofer, I sell you Rockford because they're not shitty spokes like Kicker. I hate those things.
I do too.
They're garbage. They made an awesome grill for the Q class, but it cost too much, so they stopped making it, which I was like, that's dumb. But they make sexy grills for all their woofers. Right. So we put that thing in there, put the grill on it, shoved it in, turned it on. The first bass note, he goes, that's it. Wasn't even like boom, 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 boom. It was like, boom, that's the one. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, that's it right there. I was like, okay, man, pull it around back. We'll lock it into place and get the heck out of here. Pay the difference. Paid the difference. Put that in. Done. You know, but there again, he had no basis on what to do it, and he understood because he's an adult that this is going to be a growing thing. Like what I want and what I can afford aren't necessarily on the same page. There's no hate. There's just, all right, let's figure out what you can do for me for the best amount of money that I can spend. And that has always been my objective. I mean, I don't want, like you said, do I ever talk people down? All the time. Yeah. It's like, you don't really need that. Oh, I want that. Okay, just so we're clear, you want that, you don't need it. As long as we're on the same page. Because I don't want to have that conversation at the end of this when you go, well, how come
Yeah.
because it doesn't. It never was going to. Well, there again, didn't need it. You bought it anyways.
It's gotta happen multiple times. And I think that if you're going out and you're in this community, you're going to get your system installed, plan on spending a minimum of $3,000, a minimum of $3,000.
Well,
Because
that'll get you the Halo system.
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, which is
Because
nice.
it, yeah, because that's going to be something simple. It's going to sound good. It's going to do pretty well. If, on the other hand, you have a little more SQ taste, it's going to cost you money.
Oh yeah.
You need 5 grand minimum. I would say at that point, it all depends on what you want. You just want a
Well,
basic system. You better
so
plan 3 grand.
now here's the fun part, because the thrifty individual, like the empty wallet guy, okay,
Yeah,
because I was the empty wallet guy. All right, I was the empty wallet guy for years, and it taught me a couple things. One, patience, because a patient person will get everything they want, plain and simple. Time
yeah,
is, if you got time and patience, the world is yours, because it'll all come to you eventually. But you have to work for it. It's not like you just sit down, you know. But most people don't have time and patience. But the thrifty individual will find those esoteric things, like I feel you're a thrifty individual with some of the speakers you've bought and some of
yeah,
the things, and it's like you found hidden gems that sound
yeah,
wonderful and they worked well. It didn't cost a bunch of money, but you also knew how to put them in and how to deal with the headaches that were going to come with it. You know,
right.
part of not knowing all of that is you have to pay someone to do that. Um, the flip side of that is the guy that does all that and then wants to stand up and tell everyone, well, I didn't have to spend all that money. I found these and they're just as
Right.
good. And that's when I go, no, they're not. They're not. They sound wonderful, but they're not just as good. If they were
Yeah,
just as good, then everyone would have those. They're a hidden gem that are spectacular,
yeah,
and I wouldn't kick them out of bed, and I would probably want to own a pair for myself. But that doesn't mean they're like these things automatically suck because they're expensive and you
yeah.
couldn't afford them.
That's the YouTube trick. So in the Honda, I have the 500R system, kicker key. Literally, only 500R system is only the price of the equipment, the kicker
Yeah.
key, component set, and passive or coax in the rear. But that doesn't account for I may have probably $500 worth of sound editing in that vehicle.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I spent probably 2 weekends just sound editing it. And I spent, numerous
Oh, and those
weekends.
speakers in that door sound so freaking.
It's
Dude,
crazy.
those things were incredible, man. I mean, we sat and I'm like, what the hell, man? Jesus. You know.
It's kind of shocking. It kind of
Oh, it's beyond
that
shocking.
that
I
car's
was just
that car's a
dumbfounded.
cheater car because the way the
Oh,
speakers are, anyways. But
oh
still,
yeah. 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 It was definitely impressive. I was like, what do you have in here again? Damn. You didn't pay for all that sound.
yeah,
Um, well, that's great though. I mean, but there again, all right. So I was watching a video the other day, great video, well produced, awesome. It was like five pairs of speakers under $99. I was
yeah,
like, okay, cool. So they're making a video for their store, for their online store. So it's like, okay, you lure those guys in. These are some of the best speakers ever. They're $99 a pair. So now that guy sees that and he goes, $99 a pair, no problem. I'll buy those. Buys them for $99. What he doesn't understand is that $99 pair of speakers, he could sure enough put in his car. More than likely, they'll sound a little better than what he had from the factory. And we know this because, I did it for years.
yeah,
Years and years and years of deck and four, deck and four, deck and four, deck and four. And speakers sucked, so it was easy to impress. Speakers don't suck as much anymore. Speakers are getting better. The Honda comes with a carbon composite cone speaker,
right,
made by somebody else that makes really high-end shit. So they don't sound wonderful, but they sound better. They have 1-inch metal tweeters in the A-pillars. They don't sound wonderful, but they sound better. So that $100 speakers that he puts in there, and he's like, well, these don't sound that much better. It's like, well, no shit. You know, why would they? What did you do to make them sound better? You actually detuned your factory to put these in. So, you know, let's say you were nice enough to buy the factory brackets, but let's be honest, you probably didn't. You probably saw that guy on YouTube that took a saw and just cut his speaker apart and screwed the new speaker into it. And it was like, I can do that. That's free. All right, cool. So you're at this point really hoping that those new speakers sound good, because those $25, $35 brackets that you would have bought to allow you to keep your factory speaker in case these things suck.
Right.
Now you're just running around with no underwear on, you know, and having a great time. Your factory speaker is going to have some form of a fast ring. Most of them all do. Very few of them don't. I think Dodge is really the only company that doesn't do any form of factory fast ring. They just rely on, that's why Dodge sucks. They'll do it on the small speakers, but they won't do it on the big 6x9 has no coupling thing at all. It's like, and the grills are small. I think we made that, we belabored that point this week on the show with that Dodge we're working on. But everything else, even your Kia had a fast ring on it from the factory.
Yeah.
Had a little piece of foam, and it was perfectly, and so all that sound would come through the door. Now you're throwing all that away. These companies hire engineers, sound engineers, to design these systems on the cheap, and they do an okay job. It's not like they're great, but they're not terrible. And then we buy this $99 set of speakers, and we throw it in there, and it sounds a little better. Most of the time, it sounds a little better only because there's a tweeter on it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you're like, well, I lost all my mid bass. Yeah. Why? Because you went with a bigger magnet that powers more power. So now it's not as efficient. And but you wanted the one that handled 300 watts because someone told you that all your speakers have to handle 300 watts, even though you're still only giving them 25 watts. I cannot tell you how many times that guy's come up to me over the years and said, yeah, I got 200 watt 6x9s, or I bought the 300 watt this. And it's like, you realize you only pound them at 35 watts, and then they look at you like you just spoke something in some strange language that they didn't understand, which you did. And they're like, no, I got 200 watt speakers.
Wait,
that time again.
The thing is, some of these factory systems, they're pulling the factory system out, putting basically a deck and 4 or an amp, something like that. Well, your factory system had like maybe 8 speakers with a DSP. You're just putting them in with some crossovers. It's a lot of times, unless you know what you're doing, it's not going to sound as good.
No, it's not. And that's where the hate comes from, because everyone's just like, oh, that sucks. Like, all right. Well, anyways, this has been a fun show about nothing. This is our Seinfeld episode where we just bitched about everything.
That's our. Let's be honest. This whole show is based on Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing.
The world is a show about nothing.
But we talked about car audio from minute 2. We only talked about food for like 1 minute, and that was it.
I'm excited.
We should pat ourselves on the back.
I would, but my shoulders hurt.
Me too. I've been working.
Oh my God, a whole week. Jesus.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's
the
rough
love of man. So what do you got coming up?
I've got a Brian Mitchell interview. Arc Audio. That'll be Sunday. I've already got that up.
So I talked to him last week. He actually picked us up at the airport.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Because he actually stayed an extra day to hang out with us, which was really cool. And so he picked us up at the airport, and I had to sit with Chewbacca on my lap, and of course he just fell asleep. And then we hung out to about 2 a.m, which was 5 a.m. our time. And so I was talking to him, and I said, so you did an interview with my buddy? And he goes, who? And I said, big guy at the show, this guy named Rob. He goes by Hi-Fi Vega, and he goes, oh yeah. And I said, he dropped the Dean card, right? And he goes, yeah.
Got to.
I told him to. I was like, got to do that.
Hey, everywhere I go, I'm like, Dean. Oh, you don't know Dean? Do you know Big D Wiz?
Yeah,
It's an audio
exactly.
lab.
The guy that does all those amp dynos. Yeah, that guy.
Oh, you don't know him? Do you know Kip from Kicker?
Nope, never heard of that guy.
We're just going down to Rolodex. Who do you know
Yeah.
that I know?
But yeah, no, we had a good time with him. That was fun. But I told him, I said, hey, I just want to let you know I have a connection that says you did a really good job on that interview. He goes, I did. And I said, yeah. He said you were right on point. Yeah. Why did you suck so bad on mine? Is what I'm wanting to know.
No, he's a pro. I barely had to cut that at all. So
I'm way too picky. I know this. Yeah. So you got an interview coming out, which is cool. We have 2 interviews that are in the can right now that you can watch. So please go watch at least the Bill Jackson, so you guys can kind of get a feel for the guy that is running Rockford Fosgate. If you're a fan of Rockford Fosgate, it's a really fun interview. We had a great time doing it. He was so nice and so like just giving, as it were. The whole company was. Right now I'm working on getting that video done. My plan is to hopefully have it up next week. It's probably going to be about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes long. It's going to be a beast, and that's going to be the only video you're going to get next week.
That's good, because I got to catch up, because I still didn't watch the Bill Jackson interview. So
yeah, I've decided that because I really have to get the IRTA website done, because it's just
right.
It's all taking me too long. So we're going to have to just like stop making videos, or at least just try to get enough done to where
I've heard it on good authority that Sue may kill you if you don't start shipping those out of her house.
Oh, I know. I had to move them out of the front of the house and put them where they're going to go while they were gone, because they were like, we left Monday. She dropped me off at work Monday, and I didn't see them again until the following Tuesday.
Oh man,
because they were gone over the weekend. So when I got back, they were gone. And I was like, all right, well, this sucks. Yay. But
so yeah, watch those and
those. Stay tuned to next week for the video.
And watch
Old Fashioned Podcast.
Old Fashioned
Car. Go watch the Old Fashioned
Car audio podcast.
Yes, go watch the Old Fashioned Cardio podcast. There's a lot of great guys on there. I'm just the last one to go on there. I had a blast doing it, so go listen to that. I had a couple guys text me and like, I learned so much about you, and I was like, okay. I thought I was kind of a screen door, but whatever. But yeah, so go watch that. Tomorrow morning is the news, so we'll probably talk more about stuff. Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow morning. And then Friday night, for anyone that's in industry, we're doing a MEA thing where we're gonna talk about the industry awards, because those are due this Sunday. So if you're an industry guy and you want to enter the top 50, Chris, just saying, Chris, you have till Friday. He can run. I don't know why. I hope he does. Yeah. Even working for Circuit City, you could still get in the top 50 installers. That would be pretty cool. Look good on a resume.
Wait, there's still Circuit Cities?
I'm sorry, Best Buy. It's all the same to me. Sorry.
Yeah, Chris.
But, yeah.
Chris. No, we're gonna call him Cuban Chris now. Is what it was.
Oh, call him whatever you want. He should run.
Yeah,
but we're gonna talk tomorrow night. Do a round table and answer any questions anybody has them. Cool. But yeah. But next up is Side Jag.
Yeah, its link is in the chat. I'm on top of it. I want to give one shout out to Not a Bot, Larissa.
Nice.
Oh, female in the chat. So everybody calm down, relax. you know how we get. Yeah, shout out.
I miss Circuit City too. I had to go to Best Buy tonight.
I was always Circuit City over Best Buy guy.
Oh yeah.
So it hurt.
I like salesmen.
It hurt bad. Yeah.
I like salesmen. I like talking to people.
Yeah.
I hate standing around and just being like, does anybody work here? All right.
This is it.
All right, guys. See you next week.